Hi guys, so exciting news, right? If you saw my last video, you know what happened. I got my BFP. I just cannot believe that I got pregnant. That cycle was such a horrible cycle that it was such a bad day that it almost turned funny. I talked about it in a previous video. I only had one follicle. My husband's sample was over an hour old, and look at me, I still got pregnant. I guess it was my golden egg. Yes, so let me just give you all an update. So today I am officially 6 weeks and 5 days pregnant. And that is still so weird for me to say. I'm not used to telling people that I'm pregnant yet. We weren't going to announce it to the world so early. But then we were talking and we were deciding, well, when should we tell the girls? And I don't know, I just don't want to I don't want to live under a black cloud. I mean, I know that we lost our first baby at just before 10 weeks, but that whole time before, we just celebrated that baby's life. And I want to do the same thing, I want to do the same thing for every pregnancy. I can't just live worrying that something bad is going to happen. I just kind of need to focus and live in the moment. Because it is always there in the back of my mind, but I'm really trying to, like I said, just live in the moment. So I wanted to celebrate with the girls. I mean, I want them to know, I want them to be excited. So one night the girls were in bed and we were getting them ready actually for bed, and I said to them, do you know what's in mommy's tummy? And Ava, who is Miss Sassy Pants, who knows everything, says, a baby. And I'm like, how does she even know that? But she was right, and we were really excited to tell them. I was only going to tell them, but then we had a play date the next day with a friend, and we literally saw them for 5 minutes before Ava. I didn't even get to say hi. Ava already told her that mommy has a baby in her tummy, and was going on and on and on. So at that moment, I realized that we needed to kind of tell everybody. So I did that. I updated on Facebook. I put up a picture of all of our footprints plus a little baby footprint. And it took some people some time to figure out what I was trying to say. But I just kind of wanted it to be fun and different. I was going to try to have the girls hold a Prego spaghetti jar, but they weren't having it, so I had to think of something else. So that's how we told everybody. My in-laws were really surprised because we just didn't tell anybody that we were doing treatments, so it just took everybody by surprise. I just didn't want any pressure this time around. I just kind of wanted to go with it, and so I just did vlogs and I talked to close friends and that kind of thing that we were doing it again, but we just kind of kept it close to us. So we told the girls, and then I told my mom's group, which was really fun because before they start, they always ask, does anybody have any announcements to make? And so I started to get up and everybody started clapping, and that was really exciting because a lot of them know the struggle that I've gone through. So they have you put your hand in this bucket and you have to pick out a color of what, I didn't even know what was in there. And so I put my hand in there and look what I picked. Pink. So we'll see, I guess, in 13 to 14 weeks if this is accurate or not. So the best news is, besides that, is that we had our first ultrasound today. But let me kind of go back a little bit because I forget that I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I had blood work done, the HCG, the beta, and my numbers were awesome. They were 227, and then they went up to 517 48 hours later. And those numbers I knew were really strong numbers, but I also knew that they didn't look like the numbers I had when I had multiples. So that made me feel really good because those numbers were crazy high. They were almost 900 and then 2400. So a big difference. That could kind of let me let out a little bit of a breath, even though those HCG numbers aren't always completely accurate. It still kind of gave me an idea. So we had our first ultrasound today. I was so nervous. It's you're so early and so much that can go wrong, and I didn't want to freak out too much, but how can you not? It's exciting, it's terrifying, it's all of that all in one. So we got there, and the nurse practitioner, she's actually the one that did my IUI for the girls, and she's the one that did my IUI for this pregnancy. So it was really exciting to have her do my ultrasound. She even remembered how bad of a day that was because she was having a bad day too. So it was really funny. But she put the wand, the probe in or whatever, and she said she started looking around, and I just wanted to see that there was just one sac in there. And she goes over to the side, and I'm like, oh, I'm just like holding my breath because you see all these like sacs. And I was like, what? And I'm trying to figure out, because I mean, I generally know an ultrasound, but the way that she was doing it, I just wasn't sure like where she was exactly. I was freaking out laying there, but then she was like, don't worry, don't worry. She's like, this is just your ovary. You have some remaining cysts, you know, because I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I always have cysts on my ovary. She's like, that's all you're seeing. I was like, thank God. Because I would have definitely been John and Kate +8. Very scary. So then she's like, let's get to the good stuff. And she went over, and there was the one sac and the one little baby with the little heartbeat. It was very awesome. I'm telling you, like, seeing that first ultrasound, like, never gets old. Seeing that little heartbeat, I could just feel, like, my husband's shoulders just relax when he saw that it was just one, and then I could see him, like, really focused on this baby, because I think sometimes it's hard for men to really, like, I don't know, like, really feel like it's real until they can actually see it. I mean, as a woman, we feel all the changes happening in our body, but they don't feel that. So a lot of times, like, they can feel kind of distant, and you're like, hey, aren't you excited? And he's like, yeah, I'm excited, but I don't think they really get it yet until they actually see it. So it's like, now that he's seen that there's something in there, something's growing, there's a baby, he's definitely a lot more excited and nervous, of course. You know, men always feel like they have to be the provider. So yeah, I had the ultrasound. I was released from my RE today, which is always bittersweet. She asked us if we were going to be back, and we said no. I think I'm officially, you know, if this pregnancy goes great, I am done with treatments. It's a big roller coaster. I'm not sure if we're done, so-called, with having babies, but I'm done with treatments. So kind of like whatever happens, happens sort of thing. But when this baby is born, I'll be 34. So I think that's a good age to round out our baby making years and just enjoy our last baby. That makes me kind of sad to think about our last baby, but I just feel incredibly blessed to be given this opportunity again. I just love being a mom. I love being pregnant. The girl's pregnancy was super hard, but I loved it. I love feeling them move. I love all the changes. My skin gets better. I have really bad psoriasis on my hands, like where my hands start to crack. And I'm telling you, when I'm pregnant, my hands clear up. My face gets like, I clear up. Like, I don't know. Pregnancy does me a world of good. I also lose weight. I've been, with this pregnancy, I've been really sick. The girls, well, my first pregnancy and the girls, you know, I was sick, like I would gag and stuff like that. But this one, whoo, I am gagging all the time. I haven't thrown up. You know, like, it's just the constant nausea. Before, the first part, it was all just evening nausea. So like 6 p.m. on the dot, I was like heaving. And try to make dinner and feed your kids when you're like heaving is not a lot of fun. But then like this morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. doing the same thing. It's just dry heaving, and it's just such a horrible feeling. So it looks like it's morning and night now. Even like this afternoon, I'm just not feeling great. I even asked my nurse practitioner, I said, you know, do I have to wait for my OB, or can you give me a prescription for Zofran? And I'm not one to take any medicines when I'm pregnant, you know, nothing that I feel like I can just kind of like push through. But this time I really I was like, I need some Zofran. And so she's like, oh, of course, honey, I don't want you to have to wait till your OB appointment, which is like quite a few weeks away. So she gave me a prescription, and let me tell you, Zofran, I did not know it tastes so crappy. You have to dissolve it on your tongue. It has a cherry flavor, but it's like bitter. And so it's like, imagine that bitter when you're already gaggy. I was like, can you just dissolve already? Hurry up, hurry up. Like, I just want to swallow it. Nasty. But I did notice an improvement with just one. I'm still gaggy, but I'm not as bad as I was. So I guess maybe I'll be taking some Zofran for the next few weeks to kind of get me over the hump. I called today to make an appointment with my OB. I have an HMO, so things kind of work a little bit differently. I have to go to like an intake appointment first, and that's going to be on March 5th. You just kind of fill out paperwork. For the normal people, they do an ultrasound. That's usually their first ultrasound. But because I already had an ultrasound with my infertility clinic, they won't do another ultrasound until I see my OB. And they'll make the appointment that day. So, so much waiting, right? So March 5th I have to wait for. And I have to find a sitter for the girls because they don't let any children to come to this. So they make it so easy on you, don't they? It's definitely different now that you have kids, and trying to balance them and where they're gonna go and what you're gonna do. So yeah, people, I'm totally pregnant. I can't believe it. The girls are excited. Ava is a little bit more excited than Leah. If you saw my last video, you saw that I asked them if it's a boy or a girl, and Ava says a girl, and Leah says ants. Yeah, she's a really funny girl. That gave us a good laugh. I also, you know, like, I forget how many months ago, but quite a few months ago, some of my friends who were going through infertility found this infertility psychic, and they were doing like these different readings and stuff, but her like most basic reading was only $5, and she would tell you what the gender of your next baby was and what like the estimated due date or conceived date would be. So some of my friends were like, hey, just do it, it's just $5, let's see what she says, you know. So she gave me my reading, and I kind of like put it on the back burner. I didn't pay that, you know, too much attention to it because it was just something that was for fun. Well, my friend was like, hey, what did that psychic tell you again? And this is what she told me. She told me that my next baby would be a girl, and that I would either conceive or my due date would be in October of 2013. And my estimated due date is October 2nd of 2013. So at least part of her reading was correct, but now we just have to wait to see if her gender prediction is correct. Either way, I'm excited. I would love to know what it's like to have a boy, especially since this is our last baby. But if God chooses for us to have another little princess in our house, I'm totally cool with that. I have everything for girls. I kind of know what to do with girls now, so I guess we just wait and see. After suffering a miscarriage and going through all this infertility, just having healthy is just so much more important than the gender. So, yeah. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, let's just pray it's a boy, but I don't care. I just want a healthy baby. So I talked about my symptoms where I'm like really nauseous, but I'm also, my nose is driving me crazy. I'm really like stuffy, and I was sneezing like a ton. It sounded like I had a cold, and I wasn't sick. Like, I didn't feel anything. It's just all this nasal. And I did that with the girls too. I remember it just feels like you have allergies the whole time. Oh, and the fatigue has been insane. I don't know if it's maybe that I didn't notice it as much with the girls because I didn't have any other children when I had the girls, but this baby is knocking me out. It's really hard having, you know, two little rambunctious girls chase after because all I want to do is sleep. And that's not possible. But other than that, I'm doing great. I'm super happy. I'm just beyond excited that we've been blessed again. I just can't believe that it's happening again. And I'm so excited for all of you to follow my journey into what it's like to have a singleton. I only know what it's like to have twins, so this will be something completely different, to kind of have a normal pregnancy. So I'm super excited, and hopefully gestational diabetes stays away. We'll see. Cross your fingers. And we can like do this normal. This would be awesome. I'd love to be able to have my VBAC, not have to have another C-section. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. So I'm almost 7 weeks pregnant, guys. I will do another update next week to let you know what's going on then. Thanks so much for following my journey. Oh, and I will upload a video of the girls, see, I'm so used to saying girls, of the baby's heartbeat, and I will also let you guys see the picture. Thanks again. Bye.